Hello and welcome to your Daily 5 for the 28th of April. My name is Julius the Kempenaer and I am presenting to you from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And I'm your host for today's episode of your Daily 5. I'm a senior analyst here at StockCharts.com and the creator of relative rotation graphs. No surprise that they will play a crucial part in my process to pick 5 interesting names for you. You can find my contributions in the RRG blog on the site, as well as on StockCharts Television, where I host Sector Spotlight every Tuesday from 10:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so how did I pick the 5 stocks for today? Those of you who have seen your Daily 5 before know that my usual routine is to look at an RRG, maybe find a couple of interesting sectors, and then drill down to the individual stocks. With the current market conditions, pretty volatile, in general negative, and I don't think there is, in general market terms, a lot of upside available. I decided to take the reverse route. So what I did is I ran a scan on the S&P 500 stocks, just basically looking for stocks that were trading above a couple of moving averages and having enough volume during the day to be tradable. And that gave me the list that you see on the RRG right now. I think it's 29 stocks. Twitter is in there, obviously. We all know what's happening there, and I just don't like to look at stocks where takeover bids are being played out. So I'm going to take Twitter out of the equation and then refit the chart. So this was my starting point. What I then did is I started to toggle through the individual names, and I do that by just pressing the down key on my keyboard, and then I looked at tails that were at a good RRG heading. So like PLD is one of them, Kellogg is another one, waste management, definitely interesting. So that's how I just basically ran through all the stocks in this group. Because I know that they are, from an absolute price point of view, are okay-ish. Well, they're okay. They're trading above a couple of moving averages, and we'll see later that some of them are actually pushing to all-time highs. So while doing that, I narrowed down my list to stocks that I thought were really interesting by a combination of looking at their charts and looking at the RRG. And that's the group that you see here. But it's still too much. It's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 names. But you can see that they're all on the right-hand side. They're predominantly inside the leading quadrant, and the ones that are in weakening are turning back up, and we always like that. As an additional check or confirmation, I also ran the daily RRG for the same group of stocks. And here you see that they're all inside leading. They're not all traveling at the right angle, the right RRG heading, but in general, they're still inside the leading quadrant. So that gives me enough confirmation that this is the group where I should be picking from. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over that list and give you the 5 stocks based on these RRGs that I think are worth looking at. Let's go back to our weekly RRG and starting. So waste management is the first one. That's a very nice tail that moves into the leading quadrant. If you look at the price chart, it is about to break to new all-time highs. It's definitely breaking upper resistance, and we see a very nice breakout in terms of relative strength. That makes waste management a very interesting stock at the moment. Seems to be going against the tide. It's in the industrial sector. The second one is KHC, Kraft Heinz, and you can see that the tail here is inside leading, hooked back up, starting to level off in terms of momentum, but still doing very nicely. It's the strongest in terms of momentum, so it's not a problem that it's losing it a little bit. Still moving higher on the RS ratio scale, and you can see here that we're about to break away, both in terms of price as well as relative strength. And if you make this chart slightly shorter, then you will see how nicely that relative strength is starting to pick up and about to cross over that resistance level, same as in the price chart. So the third one is RSG, Republic Services. That's another industrial stock. Also waste disposal, just like waste management. And RSG is right here, right next to waste management. No surprise there. It's not about to cross over, but if you draw that line, it's slightly lower. You see that I've got it a little bit opaque just to indicate that it's not my favorite line, but if that breaks, but what I really like here is the break in terms of relative strength. That makes RSG another interesting stock inside the S&P 500. Number 4 is PLD, ProLogic. That's a REIT. That's inside the real estate sector. Those of you who are watching Sector Spotlight know that real estate XLRE is one of the stronger sectors at the moment. And here you see that very strong relative strength, that breakout in terms of relative strength, moving to all-time highs. And price is very, very close. When it goes above 170, I'm gonna ignore that spike here. That spike was 174.50, but it was only intra month. So in terms of price, 170, closing above 170 for the week would be a very good signal. And then you have a combination of strong relative strength and the breakout in price. And that makes ProLogic, PLD, very strong inside the S&P 500. And here is the tail pushing nicely into the leading quadrant. And then the last one is CHD. And CHD is one of the stocks that is inside the weakening quadrant, but hooking back up. If you look at the price chart, then you see that it is also, just like the others, pushing against overhead resistance. Bit of a sideways range. Once we clear, let's round that off at 105. Once we clear 105, there is definitely more upside potential, and relative strength is already taking a head start of that, starting to push the tail of CHD, Church and Dwight, back up towards the leading quadrant. Traveling needs a little bit more relative strength before it starts to travel at a strong RRG heading between 0 and 90 degrees. But once this is happening and once that price is happening, I'm pretty sure that that will happen for CHD. So these are my 5 picks for your daily 5 for today. So that's a consumer staple stock, CHD. That's a REIT, PLD, ProLogic. That's an industrial stock, RSG. It's a staple stock, KHC, and it's another industrial with waste management. And that concludes your daily 5 for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again at a future episode of your daily 5 very, very soon.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.